Piyush. I represent Sure Thoughts. We are an organization who are trying to create a common knowledge sharing platform, wherein which bringing in all the people from the industries using various practices. Say as currently what we saw and what we thought of is that we haven't found any organization or any forum which focuses on multiple practices. Or if we see any chapter, for an example, if I take off IT Service Management Forum, it only specifically focuses on IT Service Management practices. Either it might be ITIL or ISO. When we go to project management, you have only PMI or Prince, which are corely related to their practices itself. But then we don't see any common platform using all these best practices at one place. So we thought of, okay, let's bring in a platform wherein which we bring in all the people and people who have been practicing various standards, frameworks, processes. Let them bring to one place. Let's eventually make it as a big forum wherein which everyone has its own thoughts and everyone group together and discuss the industry best practices. So with respect to the Sure Thoughts, we have organized an event. I mean to say, how to, we thought of organizing a white paper kind of activity, but but people never open up with the white papers. I mean to say, they just give their thoughts, but we haven't seen someone really fighting for all the thoughts. I mean to say, industry people practice, many people practice their own way of standards, processes. Every organization has their own processes. But okay, so what we thought of bringing in everyone at one place, let's create a place where in which everyone comes together, discusses on various best practices, standards and frameworks. So that is the reason we built a Sure Thoughts as a platform and clarified as a debate contest, which we are organizing from past 3 years. This is the 3rd year wherein which we are organizing. And we thank you very much. We would like to thank Value Momentum team for being very sport and allowing us to organize this event year after another. So with regards to the event, we will have
let me ask you one. Yes. You want to build a practice standard out of all these debates? You said there is only PMI and Prince 2 for the project management and ITIL.
Right.
So you want to build one out of all these discussions, debates and their knowledge?
Not exactly one out of, I mean to say, clubbing up this all and bringing it as a one. No, not exactly that. We as an organization, we have our own one kind of a practice and standard what we have, which uses all the things at one place itself. But as a platform, no. We are bringing in everyone at one place so that to understand where actually what industry needs. Okay, if an organization need an ITIL implementation, so it doesn't need that entire one end-to-end application is required, right? Implementation is required. So you might require one process or two processes or couple of processes. So what exactly what an industry needs, what is good, what is wrong, what is applicable and what is not applicable.
Are you going to publish a white paper or something ultimately?
Not exactly. Not, I mean to say, not now. Eventually we may come up with this idea. Eventually, I mean to say, we can use the this platform to come up with some white papers on the, I mean to say, seeing the experience what we thought of coming up with this particular event where we are organizing across India. So eventually, but not now. I think that's okay. So with respect to the event, today's event is the corporate preliminary round. What we named is at a corporate preliminary round. So you have different tracks. One would be this would be the preliminary round. The next would be the quarter-final round. Quarter-final round is organized in the major metros of India. In Hyderabad, so people who have been selected from Hyderabad in various companies will be coming to the quarter-final round at Hyderabad location. And the people who have been selected from Hyderabad towards to the next level, that is the semi-final round, will be going to Bangalore. So we have two semi-finals. One is in Bangalore, one is in Pune. So Bangalore would be for the people who have been shortlisted from South India, so which includes our Hyderabad, Bangalore and Chennai region. And for the rest of the India, we are organizing the semi-final round at Pune. And the finale of the event is organized in Pune itself. So each contestant who will be part of this event will get some or other benefit. I mean to say, if you have been contested in the event, you have some free e-learning access, per se as ITIL, ISO, PMP, something like this. So, and winners have some prize money in grand finale. So the first winner will get cash prize of rupees 51,000, and the second prize is of 21,000, third prize is of 11,000. So there are three different tracks where we prepared for the debate. First track is of portfolio, program and product management. Second track is of project management, and the third track is of IT service management. So for this particular corporate preliminary round, we have divided, we have chosen very specific five topics here. The next level round, the topic is going to be changed. And topics are going to be changed as according to the rounds and as according to the complexity of the rounds. So now you have these three different tracks and three different, five different topics in each different track. Right. So with regards to the debate flow, we will have, this entire timeline for one debate is for 30 minutes. Okay, so first 5 minutes, each contestant will get each 2.5 minutes, and they have to give their understanding on that particular topic. Okay, what actually that topic is saying, and then we move on to the actual debate. In debate, we will go. It's quite obvious when we go for a debate, one will be speaking for the motion and someone will be speaking on against the motion. So what we do is that we'll either as a toss of coin or as per our mutual understanding, we'll go with the who will go with the against the motion, who will go for the motion, we will decide out upon. And after some time, we will ask you to swap your roles. So the person who was speaking for the motion will go against the motion, and the one who was against will go for the motion. So total timeline here would be of maximum 15 minutes for you. Okay, and once this 15 minutes time is done, we will ring the bell, and then after that, you have to give your conclusion on the topic. Actually, what you feel. Either don't be with the, we will not consider against or for the particular debate topic. It would be a summarizing kind of, you summarize on that particular topic. And then any questions from audience and judges would be. I'm Mr. Raghuram here, and they have chosen the track as portfolio, program and product management, and the topic is product management puts customer first, not the product. I repeat, product management puts customer first, not the product. Okay, so let's start.
Okay. I'm actually in support of this point. Product management puts the customer first, not the product itself. Okay, so whatever product, whatever company, all the companies that build products are primarily meant for customer satisfaction. They need to meet various needs of the customers. So we should not consider the other aspects of the product management. Like, of course, there are constraints. Every company has to consider the constraints that are there in the company level, the enterprise environment, environmental factors, the organization process assets. All these things help the company build the product, but the end goal should be customer satisfaction or managing customers' needs. Okay, so all the compliances, the architectural compliance, the deployment requirements, the usability requirements, all these should be driven by the customers only. Like nowadays, there are disparate environments the product has to be deployed to. There are various, the needs are always growing actually, because the software usage has become very common, that every common person is also aware of the all the competitive products, off-the-shelf products that are available in the market. So any company that would try to build a product should be mindful of the customers' requirements only, customer satisfaction only. That's why every company, as a part of product support, maintenance, they have to necessarily consider all the things like customer relationship management, conducting customer surveys, based on which they will be releasing the next versions of the product. So primarily, all the metrics, quality metrics, or all the budgetary related metrics should be aligned towards the customer satisfaction only. So say all the abilities of the product, the maintainability, the reliability, the usability, and the sustainability, the changeability, all these abilities are nowadays are just nothing but the customer's requirements only. So product teams, product managements, the portfolio managements should be mindful of or primarily consider customer satisfaction or customer needs in building a product.
Actually said, I'm paying for that against of that specific, to say that product management is not specifically with customers, it's with product. See, when said as an usability or a scalability point of view, right? See, customers are of various groups, definitely. The way when the product been launched and it has been acquired a certain set of group of customers there. But the feedback or whatever the changes expected or the improvisation what is expected will be covered only that set of group of people. But definitely, I can say as an example that there can be other set of people like one suddenly if you are acquired some web customers specifically, but suddenly a smartphone kind of widgets came into market, started working bit very good actually if you see, and people started interested showing more interest towards using this tablets and Android specific smartphones. So then your web application or certain any product, it should be compatible towards that particular devices. In that per se, if my product management is more inclined towards the customer need, then what happens for me is I will be losing that specific other set of group of customers where I will not be able to target towards. My marketing would not be able to compete in my market because there will be a lot of competitors will be grown towards that. So my product would have my own roadmap towards okay, let me get into the smartphone areas so that my product will be able to compatible towards it and able to acquire a good market on it. So for that, I'll say I need to be more vigilant towards it and more prioritize on that, so that I am compatible there and I am equal competitive to others, so that I can beat my race always. For that specific, my product management, although yes, definitely without a customer there is nothing else, because any product built in for customer, but definitely says that customer is not a single by name. Customer is a single text, but definitely customers of varieties actually. I have too many segments of people. So whenever I work towards one customer, one segment, I am going to lose the others. Something like pointing a finger. If I point you, then 4 fingers pointing me like. So if I address only one set of customer, I will be definitely losing the other set of customer. For that per se, my product management will be always towards my product roadmap or the goal set in which way I am supposed to execute my product so that I can achieve my goal. So for that reason, my product management will be always towards the product so that it gets into achieving the target. So that's the way I point it.
Okay. So my question is how does the roadmap evolve? How do you arrive at a roadmap? How do you envision your roadmap actually? Unless you come up with a SWOT analysis or the MRD, marketing requirements document, how can you create your roadmap also, form your roadmap also? It should be from the marketing team who conducts an extensive survey of the usability and all the abilities, requirements, the day-to-day changing requirements, or it could be because of the legal changes, technological changes. Okay, so they are all always been the drivers actually for you to arrive at a roadmap.
Definitely.
What else is driving you?
Definitely, you are right actually. Before I commit on my product kickstart date actually, so definitely I need to do some homework towards it, either it's a market research, either by myself or by the third party person. There are people lot many, to do the market search and say that market study is evaluating this analytical for me to say that boss you have to do certain things like this. Then only I can come in. For an example, I can say that Redbus, the guy, the Bix Pilani guy, when he came out on a winter day, he was struggling to buy a ticket. So he thought, yeah, when I am struggling, definitely there will be not many people. That's a market study, definitely I do understand. He stood as a customer there. Then he identified the pain area and he took it up. What was his roadmap? To suffice the customers so that they will be, I will facilitate them in such a mode that wherever you are, just if you are in www, I am sorry, you can easily get your tickets on. In that point, he just generated the Redbus. And he is one of the very good leader in this total bus booking actually. Yeah, there are followers. Definitely competitors came in after the travel area engagement. There's so many things that come in. But provided he adopted the show actually. So he's the initiator and he brought it up. What was the roadmap for it? He towards concentrated on the web. But definitely in that, the time when this mobile website came in, immediately he didn't concentrate on the feedback which customer gives in on the whatever in the current existing one. He didn't do much towards it. Yeah, 50% you would have sorted out to retain the customers, but provided only retaining the customers, he is making himself a boundary, towards saying that only I will work with it. For that reason, he made a mobile website compatible, so that people nowadays can touch, book the tickets.
Let's take the example of Nokia. It has been successful over years actually. It ruled the Indian market. Everybody used to carry a Nokia mobile only. But where is it now? Of course, it is acquired by Microsoft. It's a different story. But because it was not into the smartphone market, not into the touch screen explicitly, it lost its ground actually. The customer's requirement was not met. Let us take just the example of Indian market. The Nokia's place in Indian market. How did it lose its ground? Because of this reason only.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely agreed on that. On the point of when Nokia loses, we cannot get into that organization styles point of view.
No,
but
talking the product perspective actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Like how the products are liked or disliked.
He had ruled. See, it's an evolution. Every business is an evolution. You should be prepared on the next evolution.
The changeability. When I said abilities,
that is a
one of the abilities is the changeability, to adapt the change actually. That adaptability was not there, or on time it could not produce the required goods.
So that you cannot say it as a customer. Customer doesn't say that when as a product company I do have the market search. It doesn't mean that I started my job. Okay, my product is on the way to started up development, yes, leasing, marketing, blah blah blah. Everything is happening. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop my market study. I have the specific set of people who will keep continuing doing that. Might be Nokia would have been lenient in that and they would have lost. I'm not sure about it. But definitely, as a product company, we would never do that. We have to keep analyzing the market in such a mode. Where am I standing now in the market, and what is the market developing, and what it is going to come now. Do you remember still a portable TV? People came out of it. Nowadays, even Intel is not there, and Intel Celeron and all, nobody is using. People are
portable TV is not there, but it has become more and more portable. People are able to watch television in their watches, in the mobiles. So portability, the requirement of portability is still there.
So customer
it got
mindset
refined actually. It went to the next stage also.
That is customer mindset or strategy. Okay, that how they change their mindsets. That is different. That is where the input for a product roadmap. But as a customer, he is saying that I bought a product and he is asking for some keep enhancements or changes or keep improvising in the same segment. That will definitely make my product growth stop actually. I will become a very good expert in one particular field, but when field goes out, like Nokia, I will be lost. So definitely my product roadmap would never be set as saying that I am targeting only for the next 5 years. No, definitely no. My product, I would always plan that like a Samsung or like an LG who came into market and he came with one brand and then he keep added and he went continued actually. That is not customer requirement. Customer had never called up Samsung and said, "Boss, why don't you do a fridge?"
Customers never ask it actually.
So it is.
You are very right. Actually, there is a very famous quote actually. Steve Jobs has given this statement. When his marketing teams went to him, approached him, and said about what kind of requirements do we need to meet in our next version, he said, "I am not sure," because even customers are not aware of. So there are categories of requirements. There are direct requirements, there are indirect requirements. Direct requirements can be understood, can be taken from the people, but indirect, this is a kind of indirect requirement. What is driving the market? What is the necessity? Is it the legal implications, technological change, portability, cost effectiveness? These are all the indirect requirements that drive the customer's satisfaction, or how customers cling to a product actually. So that's why product is nothing but meeting the expectations. Expectations, we cannot tie it to any particular thing. We cannot look at it with any fixed frame of reference. They change. The change is the requirement nowadays.
That's true. Well said actually. If you say That is at the time of a launch, right? Okay.
And in the product management, generally in the product management lectures, people keep telling us this actually. This is a very good idiom. All the direct requirements can be understood, can be captured, can be met in your product or project or development. But all the indirect requirements, whatever you perceive with your faculties, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you touch and feel, these things are very hard to understand actually. These kind of indirect requirements, meeting these kind of indirect requirements is the challenge, and where many companies, whether they are producing a device or a software, fail to understand, fail in delivering the proper product. So that's where actually understanding and satisfying the customer is a driver of, or it gives us the success, earns us the success for any kind of product.
Correct, definitely. See, at the most, finally, after generating a product, it has to be.
They cannot explain. I want a feeling when I touch an object. They cannot explain. I want to see this kind of UI. They cannot explain. You need to extract. You need to show him n number of models, and you need to extract. So this kind of requirements elicitation, analysis, and then turning out the required product is the key of success nowadays.
No, that's true. That's the way how to attract them up, or how to gather them up, how to acquire them. Okay, unless I am in the same wavelength of the customer, how they feel, and when I put myself in the customer's shoes, then definitely. But that becomes my requirement, right? See, before I go for a product, it doesn't mean that I want to generate some web application. It doesn't mean that okay, take struts or some ASP and finalize it. No, it's not that way. Definitely, there undergoes one one shape of requirement is being gathered out and comes as a design and then taken it up. Definitely, it's not a waterfall method. Again, there are a lot many iterations have started. So it is iterative, definitely. No, that requirement received from the customer, I target that this set of people is what I am targeting for this product. I know the mindset of them. I know what they would like and how I can satisfy them, and based on which is what my product is being developed on. So once after delivery, then comes all the launches. What you said, those nuances comes in. The customer would have asked for so many changes, so many things, and you would have expected something, and if it goes wrong, that's all inability in a product management. I don't go with that. Now, inability is again the base of the execution happens. But product management as a definition by itself is to deliver an actually expected result out. So definitely getting product management along with the product centric execution is a success. That's it.
For meeting the customer's requirements for their satisfaction, but at the same time, in order to mitigate the risk, it would lead to a risk actually if we sheerly go by customers' expectations in view of meeting the customer satisfaction, achieving the customer satisfaction. There is every chance that we would run into risk actually. So what should drive the product is all the constraints that the organization has, all the skill set that is available from the team members, all the other constraints like cost, how much budget can they allocate in a bid to win the race actually, and what are the other constraints, time constraint and schedule constraint and resources constraint. So, and technological things. We cannot jump onto any technology in a bid to just win the customer satisfaction. We cannot start building our product with an unknown technology. It requires so much of learning. So all these drivers play equal role actually, are equally important in building a product actually. So I'd like to cling to the same point, like all these things should do matter in preparing the roadmap for the product actually. So what is the main driver is how cautiously the company can manage its constraints and then still build a product and deliver and win the customer satisfaction.
Sure. Definitely, after all, putting whatever the struggles, what are the pain areas, we say, those are all within your campus. I don't bother about it. As a customer,
But these are realities,
if we
inescapable realities.
Definitely. As a
We-
customer, if he comes up saying, "Oh, I had purchased your product and I'm using it, but it's not fully satisfying my need." Okay. Then I want to retain the product better. I want to retain the customer. Definitely, when he's asking me that these all the things you have to give it to me, then I will be able to use it. Or else I will not be able to continue with the product. Then that becomes my business threat. I have to give more value to the existing customer too. So definitely I have to work towards it. And yes, although the product management continues with so many versions as a sprint or a scrum, however you name in your any process, but these all might be continuing. But when my customer comes in, he becomes my driving force for me. So I have to either plan for an intermediate version for it so that I can satisfy him, because my marketing is looped around with the same guys, because my customers are into same industry. When I deliver a cycle, all my cyclists, if I'm delivering my iPhone,
I'm trying to
my
put the
customers
same
are
actually. The ability to adopt change, the ability to take new direction at will based on the market demand. So that should be there. That should be the primary thing. But in that course, we should be very cautious about the constraints we have within the company actually. So it is not just the customer satisfaction alone, or the expectations, or managing the customers. We should be able to balance. We should strike a very fine balance between managing our constraints and winning the customer satisfaction. So it is like a feat for the product companies nowadays. They cannot get lost in building a product perennially for a number of years or months and get lost. By the time the product is released, the environment is changing, the requirements are changing. So in order to strike a very fine balance actually, yes, agility, dynamism, all these things do matter actually. The technology that we are opting, the teams we are taking, and we have to follow every strategy that the market requires. The frequent higher fire cycles if required, and meeting the costs, budgets, changing the direction, and giving the perspective to or aligning every team's goals. Like marketing team would have their own priorities, own direction, and my portfolio managers will have their own constraints, own direction. As a development head, I would have my own nuances. So striking a balance between all these things and still successfully releasing the product on time, within budget, with quality, and then the customer satisfaction should be the criteria for the product companies.
You are right actually. Those are all actually is better, you can say being in a real time. These theories sometimes get stumbled here and there. When it comes to customer, nowadays customers are asking as of yesterday's statement. When we set up so much of time towards it, it's not working out. Definitely and practically it doesn't work out. He needs means he needs. That's it. I am paying well, you have to pay it. No issue. You have to do it.
That's why
my product management, although my change management supports or all my process supports, definitely I have to have that loophole towards doing such priority towards customer delivery. So this is where actually the product management is continuing. My product execution, my entire delivery pattern itself has to get into such placeholders where I can get those ad hoc things.
I'd like to quote an example here actually. Take the example of Tata Motors. It has been very successful over the years actually. Since a decade, it has been delivering very quality cars at affordable price in India and outside Indian market also. Outside our country also, there are very famous models released by Tata Motors. Rover, I think, is one of the companies, one of the cars, which is very famous outside India also. But what happened when they did not properly target this segmentation, market segmentation? See, they tried the cheaper car. They campaigned like anything, saying that ours is the cheapest car on this planet, on Earth, and they produced Nano. What happened? They were mindful of only thing customer satisfaction or reaching the common folks of India. Affordability was the only driver, and they failed there actually. The unit has to be closed almost. The sales have come down, and it affected the other segments of the Tata Motors also. That's why customer satisfaction alone will not earn you money or win you the race actually. In the race.
Example and Tata
So that's why all the constraints have to be taken care of.
No, when you go for that example, I can say the Rovio Technologies on Angry Birds. Suddenly he given a birth actually. As soon as the Android came into movie, Angry Birds means is what people buy smartphones only for Android. This Angry Bird. Unfortunately, all the Android phones start picking up the sales just to play Angry Birds. All Micromax got so many tabs with $1,000, $2,000, whereas iPad that come with some $30,000-$40,000. But these came only because of Angry Bird. He created a sensation. That is customer centric. But even then, he didn't retain the customers much better because iMangi came into a hit. Temple Run. Everyone know Temple Run. Nobody knows iMangi. Everyone know Angry Bird. Nobody knows Rovio. Just because the loading he gives the value, so Rovio had been come up. iMangi doesn't have that, that. But he has the customer centric. Customer centric focus only will make the product much better. It will make the success actually. So otherwise, definitely now Angry Bird and Temple Run are equal competitors. You can name any other games. I'm not sure. These two are in the high top values standing in my gaming software in Android phones. And also he also continued with I hope BlackBerry and iPhone also get come into the compatibility. Although he targeted because the most selling is in Android, but provided next level he jumped into that BlackBerry and also towards the iOS. So the technology is weak, but the product management, Rovio Technologies product management had managed it. He understood the customers and he targeted it, and that's why he's still standing. There are too many games were there earlier. Where are they? They all went into burial. Only because of these guys customer centric focus towards it. What the feel, whatever I need to feel as a customer before I frame a product. And I need to continue that. The time when we lose the feel, product is definitely going to be better. So customer centric.
Let me justify my stand with another example actually. SAP has been very famous actually, has been used by several companies world over in the ERP market actually. And there are of course several other ERPs also in the market. Microsoft being a giant in the software manufacturing sector did not attempt in the early stages when SAP was picking up in the market. They did not try to compete with SAP directly because it's not their game actually. It's not their expertise. It's not their, because of their constraints, their market segments, their direction, their goals, their objectives. They stuck to that only. They did not try to at once compete with SAP. But what happened now? Gradually, they have released Microsoft Dynamics AX with so many flavors of ERP. There are so many flavors of ERP now. It started beating with its cost effectiveness, with its usability, with its enterprise platform. It is able to now pose a threat to this app world over. So that's how strategy taking care of that covers all the constraints, all the market surveys, and particularly focusing on one segment, not getting carried away by the customer requirements blindly, but at the same time mindful of their constraints, their segmentation. Companies are able to survive better in the market actually. Microsoft is a very good example, particularly in the SAP market.
Agree. That's true. Definitely SAP had got a hit on that. Definitely.
Right, nowadays.
But because that's again, Microsoft by itself has another problem. He can work only on the Microsoft platform. He cannot work on other things.
It's a myth actually. Nowadays it is able to talk to any kind of platform. Now there are several standards that are there in the market. OData is the standard with which any application released by Microsoft is able to talk to any other application, any other enterprise application in the world. OData is the market mantra now for all the enterprise applications to conform to actually. And in the services segmentation, there are several things. There are W star standards. Every company has to necessarily stick to comply to these standards. Otherwise, they cannot win the race actually. That's why it is nowadays Microsoft means not just Microsoft stack only. It can talk to, it can pull, it can push information, it can get information from any enterprise application in the world. So it does not have any such proprietary on only the Microsoft platforms.
Yeah, right. I will come to the technology debate offline whether Microsoft can be hosted on Linux and Solaris or something that we can go in technology debate. But when
Take
we come
the
into the
example of
customer
virtualization,
centric-
it is there.
That's what. So you can go in that pattern. But when I come into that, specific and customer, I want to go ahead with another best example for our Indian market specifically. I hope recruitment teams will be easily able to understand towards it is Naukri.com. Naukri.com had become a veteran. He's any employer and such one. He had made his own stand in the market towards employment or employing all the candidates definitely. Earlier, Monster is an actually globalized thing, but in India, he's not able to peep in. You know how he had started? He just started with an HTML. He designed his website with HTML and given it to people. And there, he is able to identify how much it can come in, started getting into the functional point. There he achieved. That's the way his business was driven through customer. That's the way he was able to, gather those.
Definitely, I am not denying that. Customer satisfaction or customers' requirements is
No,
definitely
also,
a
what
factor
I want to say is
in
why
identifying
do
a
you want to do a
product.
beta? Why do you want to do a beta release? Why did the term called beta came in? Only because I want to get the feel of a customer. If you don't need of a customer, why do you want to have the beta? You can directly launch it, no? Why do you want to give the beta?
Beta
in
is
the-
not for that. Once you reach the beta stage, you cannot take it back, you cannot withdraw it actually. All the investment, you cannot undo your product development.
No, definitely that gives
You
me a
reach
very big.
beta stage means you are about to release it.
No, you
So
go to any
success
business
or
in
failure,
market.
it has to go.
No. Anything on customer specific is not directly, it's not a surprise like a Rajinikanth movie released today. No, it gets into all trailers also. It's a beta, definitely. I have to release a beta. And that gets into some segment, might be a 10, 15, 20% of the people. It acquires it and gets the feedback there. So, at least, I might miss only this 25%. With these pain areas, if I ensure my product is covered up or, all boosted up, all the coating and all done now I can release to the people so that, I will not lose further. And I can see that, that n minus 1 or n minus x, this x segment is for the beta and remaining the n minus x is my entire sales. And definitely down the line when I come, this x also will be automatic. This is an Indian goal, right? Or a general human goal. Everyone goes there, everyone will go there. That's it. The first 10 goes. I need to meet the 10.
From both sides. All the sessions that we had in the morning about the same topic, you touched the area that no one else touched it. So that's the refresher.
Examples were like really good.
Yeah.
They were really relevant to that point. That was very interesting. I'm not sure everyone knows about those things. When you brought those examples, people got to know about what is it that companies have gone through.
I'd like to give you guys another chance to take a stab at the subject. Comparing the style of Apple and Samsung, which is all of us are completely familiar with that. It's the same story, but I think I would like to share a perspective which both these companies operate. Their operating guideline itself follows certain tenets, which is something on the lines that the point was subject matter there. So maybe you started with for, right?
For, yes.
So you can probably either different an Apple or an Samsung with that perspective. I mean, each of you should take an opposing view. If you have 2 minutes for the benefit of all of us, you can probably spell it out. It will be interesting. Have I made my question clear?
I could, but I don't have data to
Let me put it
I'm not specific.
just 2 minutes. We would want to get those perspectives because it's again very relevant.
I mean, towards the product map and how they followed, it's not known about, but provided with iPad with the Samsung. If you say iOS, with
iPhone
Android,
and iPhone.
Android.
Yeah.
I say iOS with an Android
Yeah.
competitive. Okay. I hope I can. It's just Android.
No, what my question was, okay, let me give the perspective and see, if you look at the way Apple has designed their products, they have come with a view which is against the topic that
Right.
Product is first. Now, I know what the customer
Yeah,
wants.
I understand.
And they have gone ahead and done whatever innovation, and let's face it, customers out there are telling they have liked it, no? Which means Apple has proved that they know what the customer wants. Correct? So,
No, they
I don't-
created it actually. They do not know in fact.
no, so they create, so
They
they were
created
ahead.
that necessity
They
in the
are ahead,
market.
ahead of the customers, and that's what all of us know. I don't know if all of you know. If 100 rupees of money is made as profits in this entire industry, 79 rupees is made by Apple. 21 rupees is made by Samsung. Everybody else is losing money. That's the reality. Everybody else is losing money. That's the hardcore fact, you know. What I'm trying to tell is, there is a, but is that a everlasting truth? Whatever we were debating just about, product comes ahead of customer. That's not the truth, because the recent past we have seen the upstart Samsung actually nipping away at Apple, you know, making them worry. Whether that's sustainable, we don't know. Time will tell. But the question is, no one thing is true. But then, if the company so strongly believes in its ability to innovate and be ahead of the curve, they'll continue to prove and hold those very tenets strong to their heart and deliver against that. So that's the key. I was hoping that you would probably come. Like, you just look at Samsung. The reason they have become as competitive or as successful as Apple, or more successful than any other company, is that, I don't know if you guys are aware, Samsung leads hundreds and thousands of people, unleashes rather, if I may say, into the field. Their only job is continuously interacting with customers and looping back, and including it as a part of their, what do you call, interestingly, I met a gentleman who manages Samsung relationship in India. He says we're all familiar with the number of products Samsung releases every quarter. They are winning by straddling all sections of the market. They are confusing the hell out of the competition. You call Android mini phone, big phone, white phone, small phone, Asha phone, non-Asha phone, whatever, competing. That's the way they are carpet bombing. Any new phone, they seem to create a new market niche and win out of that. But which means they are continuously learning from the market and then adopting. And it's the Android was a beautiful thing that happened for Samsung, and unfortunately because of Android, I think we have two burial grounds, as you said. BlackBerry and Nokia almost fell off. Both these are giants. They are successful in their own might, but they have probably taken differing. It would have been interesting to get that perspective in this debate. But of course, it's good, and I think
there was a nice example from
Yes,
Forbes,
yes.
which was related to Tata Motors and Chrysler fighting for a truck we introduced now. Tata has been doing this business for years now, and Chrysler, when they tried to sell their truck, they found one basic defect why truck drivers were not interested to use the vehicle. The basic thing was they discovered that there was a hole in truck besides trucker's seat in Tata trucks, which was not present in Chrysler. The usage for that was, while you're driving, the driver cannot stop the vehicle. It was used for as a pee hole.
oh my goodness.
And that was one reason they were not ready to take it. And that was a basic necessity of a driver which they did not think about. Immediately they went back, they did that.
Naveen, just to add to your point, I think with Apple, I believe they were able to get into this market faster than Samsung. What Samsung is doing peripheral to what the innovation has done. So that's probably, they are doing a penetration market now than the innovation market. So they are into that. So Apple is the first to reach out to the people and then adopt these touch phones or all that wow factor that Apple created. Then everyone else is following the ground.
If you really do what do you call postmortem of the whole thing, there are any number of research reports out there. Actually, it was Nokia which had pioneered, innovated on every single aspect. Call it touch, call it music, every damn thing. But then they just got stuck with a 2.5-inch screen for far too long. It's a classic. It's a classic case of established players defending. There are enough theories, which is out there. They tried defending their market by trying to out innovate their narrow focus area. And by the time they're so ignorant of what's happening, they just get.
They started plowing a wrong field.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting.
iPhone has his own standard. He has his own standard towards it. Definitely, we cannot compete him in towards
Market
it.
is saying that no, money is
Money
which is
is-
why it is world's what you got most valuable tech company, right?
His strategy is to maintain that so that it will never be lost. Something like you can see Xerox, people know everyone Xerox. There's lost the word called photocopy. Actually, photocopy is at a concert. Xerox is a manufacturer.
It has become synonymous.
And that's why now people everyone say only Xerox. That's the way iPhone. I think Apple will come that model. That's the way he will come. All the touches, every icon, everything is patented. Everything has a lot of homework, lot of analysis, research towards each and every icon on the touch, like diversity or expose, whatever it is. He had that a big access towards it. Nokia just innovate and then give it as is, beta type actually. But he actually, that's the expectation to use the standard. iPhone, even now, iPhone 5 has a more value
See,
than
again, if you look back in history, product first and customer later also has failed. If you see the classic case of Sony, they failed. Back in 2006 is when they last made money. After they've been losing money apparently. They have tried to re-engineer. If you just look at their core products, which were around not the content side, only the hardware side, they were claiming to be the best engineered product. Even today, if you see, they are beautiful looking products.
The resolution or
They're beautiful
the
looking.
quality.
But then, if you really see, in the shootout in terms of everywhere across the globe, Samsung has just overwhelmed Sony big time. I believe even in a developed market in the US, people just lots of Sonys get launched, but it is just matter of factly. Whereas Samsung people wait and pick, and that's a kind of a thing following.
Multi-brand activity was very specific to everything. From any homeware item, getting to home, anything can be in Samsung. That's the way he approached everyone.
Probably when it came to a comparison, the TV which we've seen, Samsung, both of them had a joint panel manufacturing unit. I don't know if you guys are aware. Then it's got acquired. Sony couldn't sustain; they just sold it out to Samsung. Yeah. Great. I think you guys did a good job.
Thanks.